Hi, and welcome to the Law Office. I'm Justin Rosas. This month's legal tip is going to be a little bit of advice about how to deal with police interactions, either on the streets, in a traffic situation, or otherwise. And these interactions are the types of interactions where you are being interrogated, you're being investigated for a traffic violation or a crime, or the police are attempting to serve a warrant on you. In any of those situations, it's important that you know how to express your constitutional rights. Now, before I begin, I have to say that a legal tip is not a substitute for legal advice. If you do end up in a situation where you are cited, charged, investigated, or given a warrant, it's very important that you get in to see a competent criminal defense attorney as soon as possible. It's not just a racket. Competent and excellent criminal defense attorneys can greatly change the outcome of your case with employing their legal capabilities. So get into a confidential environment, meet with someone, explain your situation, have them review the discovery, come to some sort of legal recommendation, and then follow it. However, this type of legal tip is important preventative maintenance. It's sort of like what you would expect from a doctor, some advice about how to keep this health problem from coming up again. And while it's not the kind of thing that we teach enough of, it should be taught more often. And the tip today is going to be a summary of a 1 to 2 hour class called a Know Your Rights seminar that I teach for the American Civil Liberties Union at the Maslow Project at Community Works and in a number of other local organizations. If you're interested in that class, keep checking back at the website, on the blog, on our Facebook site for the announcement about the next time that we have a class. We'd love to have you there. I think it's something that more people need to know about in order to keep the number of prosecutions that we see from happening. Let's move into the tip. So you're going to be in a situation, we're envisioning a situation where you're either stopped as the driver or passenger of a vehicle, or where you're walking down the street and you're approached by a police officer about what you're doing. The first and most important set of magic words, or the first and most important phrase that you're going to say is, "Am I free to leave, officer?" Officer, am I free to leave? Well, yes. Okay. Obviously, if the answer is yes, then leave. If you're the driver of a vehicle and you can park your car and leave as a pedestrian, that's better. The reason that's better is because we all know how difficult it is to completely follow the traffic code, to not break any traffic laws. So if the officer really has you under his eye and you drive away, he may follow you, look for a next violation, and pull you over again. Am I free to leave, officer is often responded to with an answer other than yes or no. Am I free to leave, officer? Well, I just wanted to talk to you for a minute. If you get an answer other than yes or no, repeat the question. Am I free to leave, officer? No matter what else is said, am I free to leave, officer? Once you get a yes, leave. If you get a no, that means that you're either under arrest, being detained, or have been stopped. It's very important that you get that no as soon as possible, because later a good attorney can come back and challenge that you were arrested or stopped without cause if you're told no too early in this process. If you're told no, you have to move on to the next step. So if you're told no and you're the driver of a vehicle, you're required to hand over your license, registration, and proof of insurance, something we may all know too well. If you're on the streets, you are required to at that point give your name and date of birth. If you're the passenger in a vehicle, name and date of birth will suffice. Once you give over those documents or your name and date of birth, and even before that, after you've asked, am I free to leave, and you've been told no, any other question a police officer asks you should be responded to with, I will not answer any questions until I'm allowed to speak to an attorney, and I'd like to have my attorney present for any questioning. So, oftentimes in a traffic situation, the first question is, do you know why I pulled you over? Do you know why I pulled you over is the first question because they're attempting to get a confession from you. Well, I was going a little bit fast back there. At that point, they no longer need to authenticate their radar gun, prove that it's been calibrated or tested, or deal with the fact that other cars may have been causing a radar reading. At that point, you're going to lose that traffic trial because of the fact that you've confessed. So any question like that, obviously first start with, am I free to leave? Wait till you get an answer to that question. But then any question like that, the answer is going to be, I will not answer any questions without the advice of an attorney, and I won't answer any questions without my attorney present. Basically, I want a lawyer. Some people are afraid that that may create some sort of ire within the police officer, that they may punish you for asking for a lawyer. And I've seen quite the opposite in my experience here over the 1,800 or so cases that I have defended people on. More likely, it's going to back that police officer up and make them realize that you do know what you're talking about and you know how to express your rights. So I won't answer any questions without an attorney or an attorney present. After that, the only other set of magic words that you need to know goes towards consent to search. A police officer is still allowed to ask you to search either your car, your person, your belongings, or some other piece of property that you have. There is no duty to allow someone to search your vehicle. A lot of people think that once you get a driver's license, you have to consent to a search of your vehicle. That's simply untrue. Do not consent to a search of your vehicle. Do not consent to a search of your person or property. And that third set of magic words is, I won't consent to a search without a warrant. If you are given a warrant, you do have to comply with the terms of a warrant. Most of the time when people say, I won't consent to a search without a warrant, the police officer does not then follow up and get a warrant. It does occasionally happen. In any situation like that, again, you want to get the advice of an attorney. You want to speak to an attorney about your situation and figure out how to deal better. But I want to run through them real quick one more time. And you should write these down on a card and keep them somewhere, or at least memorize them. Am I free to leave, officer? If the answer is anything other than yes or no, ask it again. If it's yes, leave. If it's no, hand over your basic documents if you're a driver. Let them know your name and date of birth if you're on the street. Answer no other questions. And make that second set of magic words, I will not answer any questions without an attorney present. After that, if you are at, or at any point, if you're asked to search, the response to that is, I will not consent to a search without a search warrant. I think you'll find that these three sets of magic words will greatly change the way that you interact with law enforcement when you're under the gun. I also think that anytime you're in this situation, give us a call about your legal needs. Thank you so much and have a great day.